What misinformation seems to never die? Half of the quotes attributed to Gandhi, Dr. Seuss, Oscar Wilde, and Ben Franklin. And Einstein too. Stop making up quotes about me for social media. /Albert Einstein. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, ask Slay Queen Gandhi. I wonder how many quotes have actually never been said. That if you shave any hair on your body it grows back thicker and darker. I learnt this the hard way. I'm a guy with not so thick beard. My father, who is medic, always told me to shave often so my beard would get thicker. After years and years and years trying, one day I started suspecting this was false. A quick Google search confirmed, to my disappointment. So now I simply don't shave at all anymore. Your father thought you looked better without a beard, lol. People often believe that shaving causes the hair to grow back thicker because they begin shaving off unwanted hair when dark fuzz appears at the onset of puberty. Later they find that the fuzz is growing back thicker. But it got thicker due to puberty, not because of the shaving. My father also used to tell me this. Didn't even fall for it, it just sounds stupid. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. In fact it does, and with great regularity. Thus, the need for lighting rods in some lightning-prone locations. Oh yeah, the Empire State Building frequently gets struck by lightning during electrical storms. Empire struck back. Just wait until one day the Empire strikes back at the storm. It is actually a phantom menace and is just waiting till the Force awakens inside it to attack with its army of clones, some might say, an attack of the clones? And that's how we're getting a new Star Wars movie. That you can detox/cleanse your body with certain drinks or pills. But also the idea that you need detoxing. No. You got an elegant filtration system and an elegant enzyme system that do that job, among others. Apart from the obvious excretion. And in the event that your body stops being able to do that stuff and you do need detoxing, you should be seeing a doctor about it, not drinking random charcoal smoothies and whatever else. Plus, the charcoal can impact any medication you're taking. That's the reason doctors give you charcoal when you've been poisoned, and I guess that spread into charcoal removes poisons from your body. 1. That bulls get angered by the color red, they are color blind, so it really makes no difference. It's the waving of the cape that gets to them. 2. Bats are blind, this simply isn't true either. Bats have almost as good eyesight as humans and some larger bats have eyesight almost 3x as good as that of a human. 3. Nails and hair of a person continue to grow after death, the skin retracts as it becomes dehydrated after death. The nails and hair do not grow, they just appear longer. Also growing up I thought bullfighting was just like it was in the cartoons, with the matador waving the cape and going, toro. Toro. Which is just Spanish for bull. Bull. And the entertainment was just him dodging this animal over and over until the show ended, like in a circus. But no, traditional bullfighting is literally bullfighting, and weapons are used to injure, maim, and kill the animal. I actually didn't know that bats could see. I assumed they only use sound waves. Granddaddy long legs are the most poisonous spider on the planet, but their fangs are too small to pierce skin. Ugh. Related to this, the claim that daddy long legs aren't even spiders. Which is somewhat true, but it depends. There are a lot of bugs that are colloquially called a daddy long legs in different parts of the world. Some are spiders, some are not. Yup. Here it's craneflies. Edit, I think that claim's directed at harvestmen, though. They're arachnids closely related to spiders. We call those spider eaters, like mosquitoes, where I'm from. That MSG is bad for you. It's literally a naturally occurring amino acid in certain green plant life that utilized photosynthesis, with normal salt used as a binding agent. The myth came from a single person writing to a newspaper back in the 70s, I believe, where he ended up with a headache after visiting a Chinese restaurant, and the only ingredient in the dish he had that he didn't recognize was monosodium glutamate, and because people are stupid and it sounds scary, he blamed it on that, and it led to a bunch of people reporting similar anecdotal stories that led to the myth of it being bad for you. There have been dozens of studies confirming that it's perfectly safe and doesn't cause headaches or any other known ailments. Pizza is basically a collection of all the naturally occurring MSG ingredients. That's why it's awesome. Cheese, yeast bread, tomatoes, mushrooms, and cured meats. Yep. Pretty much most Italian dishes. No surprise, it's one of the most popular cuisines. We only use 10% of our brains. We only use 33% of traffic lights. Think about how much quicker intersections would move if we used 100% of it. That's why they should always be yellow, so people are cautious but don't get stuck in traffic. With the impatience of drivers rising every year, I don't think this would work out too well. Putting every traffic light to yellow sounds like a terrible idea. That stem cells come primarily from aborted babies. They don't, they are harvested from bone marrow today. To go with this, the idea that fetal cells used in medical research come from modern abortions. Some people imagine there is a pipeline from abortion clinics to medical labs, and we need to maintain abortion rates to keep up with demand. This is absolutely not true. These are all cell lines that are grown in vats. WI38 is probably the most famous line. It has been used in the development of multiple vaccines and drugs around the world. It originally derived from a female fetus aborted in Sweden in 1962. These cells have been grown and sold by biolabs since then. Religious folks can argue that the original source of these cells was an unethical act, but certainly they aren't killing new fetuses to get more of this stuff. At no point is someone saying, "We need more fetus," convince some women to abort. The theory of alpha wolves. The person who proposed it did so back in the 70s with a book he wrote and has since sought to correct the mistakes made. He even has tried several times to get his publisher to stop publishing the old book because of the misinformation from it. There is no contest of superiority, the wolves that have more authority are merely the parents of the other wolves. Here is even a small website he made about it, some URL. People on the internet really seem to buy into the idea that elephants find humans cute. The source of this is a Tumblr post that claims the same region of the brain that's active when humans see puppies is what lights up when elephants see us. But that requires MRI machines big enough to accommodate elephants, as well as keeping an animal that weighs like 5 tons still whilst it's fully conscious. It also means assuming that the brain structures do the same job across species. If anything, the harsh reality is that wild elephants probably see humans as threats, given that as a species we're actively doing our best to kill them. Elephants who live in zoos or sanctuaries may be endeared to their keepers and us humans in general, however. The good news is that this can probably change if poaching is ever stopped. Elephants who'd been raised in the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, for example, have led sick or injured herdmates back to the sanctuary for treatment. Elephants who'd been raised in the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, for example, have led sick or injured herdmates back to the sanctuary for treatment. Goodness. My body just involuntarily dry sobbed when I read this bit. It really shows the level of their intelligence and memory, and how they base who to trust and distrust by experience. An average person swallows around 7 to 8 spiders in their sleep. Edit, credit to Lemino, which made me realize it was a hoax and not just a ridiculous fact. Many sent the link here and am too lazy to hyperlink, so look around. I like this one. It implies that A, most people sleep with their mouth open, and B, that spiders are that dumb to just walk into someone's mouth. That's 3 bullshits in one sentence. I like your ambitious counting. Thanks, I like it too. I like it 3. I like it 4. That cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis. Cracked my knuckles as I read this and it was extra satisfying. When someone tells me this, I try to crack something again. Just for the double satisfaction. There was even a doctor who habitually cracked the knuckles of his left hand but never his right for 50 years just to prove to his mother wrong about whether cracking his knuckles would give him arthritis. Donald Unger, I think. I was told that a lot of stuff gave you arthritis. But only when you're 80 years old. That humans will eventually evolve to lose the little toe as we don't use it. No, that's not how evolution works. Unless at some point in the future not having one increases our chances of reproducing, the little toe is not going anywhere. Also regarding evolution, We didn't exactly evolve from monkeys, it's more like monkeys and us share a common ancestor, but then we split into different evolution branches. Edit, I changed the word ape for monkey, as it is more correct to express what I meant. If nature worked like that, men would not have nipples. If it's redundant but not harmful, it will continue to ape here. That's not quite correct. All fetuses are quasi-female at first, but some get a testosterone kick later and grow into males. The nipples are built in open alpha, so to speak, while testicles can develop later. Fun fact, cis men can also lactate. Steroid users sometimes accidentally mess with their hormones too much and start producing milk.